we are to the left of Canada on this.
There's a right-wing talking point that the American immigration system should be more like Canada, that America is actually to the left of Canada on immigration policy. Now, this is an idea that I've heard echoed from people within Trump's own cabinet, like Jeff Sessions, who says, when we admit people to our country, we should be like Canada. We should evaluate them and make sure they're going to be lawful. They're not a threat to us. They have the education and skills level to prosper in America. But now this is also a line that I'm hearing from liberals. So this is what Bill Maher said on Real Time this past Friday.
If somebody would actually introduce facts into this,
Yes,
with
please.
this immigrant, no, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about
Yes.
Congress. We are to the left of Canada on this. Usually when an issue in Canada comes up, people say, oh, the healthcare system or pot or gay marriage. They're always to the left of us. Good liberal Canada. Canada allows 28% of people in through family. We allow 2/3. They have a point system in Canada. It's much stricter. It's not what Trump would call chain migration family. It's education. Do you speak English or French? Work experience. Do you have a job offer? Age, adaptability. Immigrants admitted based mainly on employment skills. America, 14%. Canada, 58%.
Yeah, if only somebody would introduce facts into the discussion on immigration. So let me introduce some of those actual facts. Now, what Bill Maher laid out isn't completely wrong, but it's the way that he delivered it without giving the full picture that somehow makes it seem like America is to the left of Canada on immigration when they are absolutely not. So let me just go over some of the basic data here. So the majority, 60.3% of these new immigrants were admitted under the economic category. 26.8% were admitted under the family class to join family already in the country. And 11.6% were admitted to Canada as refugees. So yeah, since 2011, about 60% of the immigrants coming into Canada came in under the point system, which is called the economic category, which is based on skills and education. So case closed, right? America is more progressive because they don't have that sort of point system. Well, actually, let's take a look at the bigger picture. So first, here's a look at the numbers of immigrants currently living in Canada and the US as a percentage of the population. And as of 2011, Canada's foreign-born population is 20.6% of the total population, compared to just 12.9% for the US as of 2010. Now, just to give a quick update to those numbers, as of 2016, 21.9% of Canadians are foreign-born, which is a 1.3% increase from the 2011 number that I showed you. And now 13.5% of Americans are foreign-born, which is a 0.6% increase from the 2010 number. So overall, 1 in 5 Canadians are foreign-born, which is a much higher percentage than in America. And this is a number in Canada that's continued to rise since the 1980s. And this also translates to immigration numbers annually, where there is a much higher percentage of immigrants coming into Canada each year than into the US. Canada now takes in 0.8% of its population in new immigrants every year, compared to 0.6% for Australia and fewer for the US at 0.3%. And now the Canadian government's plan is to raise annual immigration intake by 13% by 2020, equaling to 0.9% of the population rather than 0.8%. But let's break those immigration numbers down even further. Now, how a country treats refugees is often looked at as a measure of how progressive a country is on their immigration policy. And in Canada, a record number of refugees were admitted in 2016, the highest since 1980. The resettlement of 46,700 refugees in 2016 marks a tremendous achievement and a record for Canada since 1978, when the Immigration Act came into effect, the UNHCR representative in Canada said Monday. Canada was the number 2 country for refugee settlement in 2016. The US, which resettled 84,995 refugees in 2016, ranked at the top. So the US ranked at the top in terms of bringing in refugees. So I guess they're the most progressive. Until you actually break down the numbers. So Canada resettled 46,700 refugees, amounting to about 0.13% of the Canadian population. Meanwhile, America resettled 84,995 refugees, amounting to about 0.026% of the American population. So while America has 10 times the population of Canada, they only brought in a little over double of the amount of refugees that Canada did. So progressive. Now, it's not only about bringing in sheer numbers of immigrants, it's also about how you treat those refugees. So, once the refugee status claim is made, the newcomers are entitled to all the legal rights and benefits of Canadian citizens. They are allowed to work for at least 4 years and receive free medical care and social assistance for years while their cases are processed and appealed. So refugees settling in Canada get free healthcare and social assistance as their case is being processed or appealed. Now, it's worth noting that some Canadians are critical of our immigration system, like this Maclean's piece from Adnan Arkan, who claims Canada's immigration system is no kinder than America's, with Khan calling for the end of the economic category of immigrants, saying that it is, quote, not humanitarian. So there are always improvements that could potentially be made to any system, but whether you agree with Canada's immigration system or not, the right-wing and now neoliberal idea that America is somehow to the left of Canada on immigration is just false.